Okay, good morning. Welcome to
FamilyMath997.
Family Math 997. So there's a new interesting idea from Po-Shen Loh out about the quadratic formula. It sort of brings together a lot of different ideas, actually ideas that we've studied before, to produce sort of, I guess, a new way to think about the quadratic formula. So, but I just wanted to talk about, before we look at the new idea, talk about what the quadratic formula is. Can you say what it is?
Yeah, so it's for ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. The roots will be negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a.
Okay, nice. So that's the rule.
Yeah.
And so if we're trying to find the solutions of a quadratic equation, it's a little bit different than how we solve a linear equation. What do we do for just a plain vanilla linear equation? Bx plus c equals 0. What's the approach to solving it?
Well, I guess you could find the x-intercept and y-intercept of the equation.
Yeah, you could. What would you do to solve this?
I'd just say x is negative c over b.
Okay, yeah. You just move something over to the other side and solve. With the quadratic, it's a little more difficult, but there's a nice straightforward formula. Do you remember where this formula comes from? Do you think you could derive it?
I think if I remember,
on the fly.
I think if I remember it comes from completing the square on this.
Okay, so let me remove that. How do we complete the square?
So we want to
I'm kind of putting you on the spot.
factor the a out. I think that's how it goes. You got x plus. And then we want to, actually first let's get just make it a bit less complicated. I'm going to leave this c out here, because we're going to have to manipulate that a bit later. Because then on the inside we're going to have to add something here to make this a perfect square.
Okay.
So and what we add is we add b over 2a squared. Since if this is a square, this can break down into x squared plus b over 2a times x squared plus b over 2a.
Okay.
So, and then we have to subtract this out over here. So it's a times b over 2a squared minus plus c.
Okay.
So
Yeah, camera still, yeah.
okay,
Here, I'll erase up here.
then we're just gonna do x, so a times x plus b over a, or b over 2a squared, minus b squared over 4a plus c. So I think the solutions here are this is a times the square times x minus h squared plus k. And the solution, so x is b over 2a. I think I've done this wrong. I don't remember this final step.
Well, okay, I can. You're kind of on the right track here. So this equals 0.
Yeah.
That's what you were forgetting to write that down. So what would you do next?
Well, I mean, we can move things to the other side that we can make this simpler.
Okay.
So x plus b over 2a squared equals, I guess, c minus b squared, or minus c plus b squared over 4a. And then this whole thing is going to be times 1 over a.
All right.
Then we square root, so x plus b over 2a equals, so I guess in here, before we square root, I'm going to move this around and we're going to say b squared minus 4ac all over 4a squared.
Okay.
So then when we square root, we get x plus b over 2a on this side equals the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared.
Uh-huh.
So then x equals minus b over 2a plus square root of b squared minus 4ac. This doesn't simplify on the top, but the bottom does, over 2a.
Okay.
And then it's just, you combine the denominators.
Okay.
So x, I'll write it over here.
I'll write it on top.
So x equals minus b plus, and I guess, or minus, because the minus square root squares to the same thing.
Okay.
So that's where the plus minus comes from. But I guess when we do it algebraically, we tend to want to do the plus.
Well, yeah. But what's the right thing to do?
It's plus or minus.
Right. When you take a square root, you always have a plus or minus.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Hey, that's a nice derivation, and especially since I didn't even tell you anything ahead of time about that we were even doing this. So good job. Do you understand that derivation?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of algebra, but that's the algebraic derivation. Okay, so now I'm going to have you watch a video about Po-Shen Loh's approach to solving the problem, and then we'll talk a little bit about it.